So one of the first things I'd like to ask you is, why are you here? Why did you choose Ferris State University? Anyone? Bueller? Sir?
I came here because I knew somebody who went here.
I knew somebody that went here. Okay, great. Well, here's the thing. A lot of students will say, my boyfriend or girlfriend is here. Catch the Justin Bieber boyfriend? All right. My best friend is here. It's a party school. Oh, we don't want to say that. I decided in the 7th grade to come here. My parents went to Ferris State University. Ferris is a great hockey team. All good reasons. But what a lot of students don't ever tell me is to get a great education and to have a career. In order to make that happen, the internship is a huge part of getting your career to happen for you. Creating yourself. Everybody says you're supposed to know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life. The big secret is this: you still don't know, even at my age. You always want to grow. You always want to do different things. It's easier to create yourself than to know yourself. So create the person that you want to be. How do you do that? Well, you start figuring out, yeah.
Could we all move down to the front so that we're not...
Yeah, we'll love it. Come on in, guys.
This is kind of crazy that we're all sitting...
Yeah,
spread out.
sure. I just think that when you're thinking about yourself,
So come on down.
start knowing.
First 2 rows. So he doesn't have to yell. Thanks. That just feels so much better.
Thanks. Now, you've ruined the illusion of the large auditorium being full for the camera in the back. Okay, so, but what the secret is this: knowing yourself, helping others. Is it important to you? Is it important to be rich? I don't know. Some people like money. I really do. I work in education, so it's kind of an oxymoron. Prestige, flexible work hours. These are all things that you sort of have to know with your personality. There's a lot of external factors that go into making you, you. Okay? It could be how you're brought up, your experience, your personality, how you like money, where do you want to live, your life goals, religious affiliations. Lots of different things go into making you, you. And one of the things that I want to touch on with this is that could affect your career placement later on. All the external factors that have been built into making you, you. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. I've met a lot of students over the years, and I have talked with them, and basically they have said, you know, I've grown up in a poor section, a bad neighborhood, and I changed. I made a change myself. It's not your surroundings all the time. You're in control of your future. You're in control of your destiny. So I'm here to hopefully give you a career jump start. Really what this is? I don't have any jumper cables today, but preparation and planning for your career is key, in my opinion. What does that really mean? That means as a junior, you're sort of bordering on waiting too late to get your career happening for you if you have not thought about doing an internship or getting out there and getting some real-world experience. I used to hate that when my dad would tell me, oh, you're going to be out in the real world. Well, the real world is this. You have to work. You have to do something that you enjoy, or you're going to be miserable the rest of your life. So when you do these internships, start thinking about preparing and planning for a really good career, because it could lead you to a great opportunity with a job offer. Choose a career that focuses on something that you like to do. I met with a student today, a young lady, and she was very excited about marketing. And I said, well, why aren't you in marketing? Well, I just thought business would be a better way to go. I said, well, you can still go with business administration, but you want to focus on marketing, something that really ignites you where it doesn't seem like it's a lot of work, okay? Just know yourself, your ethics, your personality, ask questions, seek answers. That means that anyone in the College of Business, as a faculty member or an administrator, can help you, hopefully get you to the right person if you have questions. The only one that is not the best question is the one that's not unanswered, or not answered, right? Not to, I guess, disregard any of our faculty teaching here, but I think that experience is the best teacher, right? So in order to really get out there and experience things, you have to do an internship. And I keep saying this, you have to do one, and I'm going to show you why. But when you look at this chart, this is kind of fancy, right? Educators really like to look at this and go, oh, they're going to process the information, it's going to be wonderful, they'll generalize and apply. Well, you know what? Let's go into something a little bit different. Experiential learning. This is something easy to remember. I hear it and I forget it. I see it and I may remember. I do and I understand. That is kind of what I'm going with here. You sit through classes, you sit through instructors that you may not like, or you may like, really? But here's what the deal is. When you go through those classes, it's all building up for a reason. The ultimate capstone project, as I like to call it. How do you make yourself more marketable to an employer? Well, how do you make yourself more marketable to you first? What that's going to be is getting involved, right? Get involved, volunteer, service learning projects, study abroad, Internships, on-campus employment opportunities, student projects and competitions. Again, experience builds that resume and really makes things happen for you, for an employer when they interview you. Anyone here see the movie The Internship? What'd you think of it? It was pretty funny. Yeah. Having those two guys together, I think something is definitely going to be funny. You know, even if the movie may not have had the best plot, still hilarious gentlemen. Now, back in the 50s, this was sort of your work environment. Ugh, really? I mean, you work as hard as you can to impress that guy up in the corner? I don't know. But look at today. Colorful, exciting. There's a lot of movement in these pictures, a very diverse crowd, and I like that. What's exciting is that you have the opportunity to join these folks. With internships, experience is key. I keep telling you this. Employers keep saying it. They want students with experience. They want students who interview well. How do you get that experience? You get involved, okay? Whether it's through an RSO on campus or through student volunteering, anything that you can do basically to set yourself up and make yourself a little bit better than the average student. Employers, again, are saying that they want you to have hands-on real-world experience. Well, I think it's important to know that you can get that here. You can get that through the College of Business. This is a national survey, which is from 2012. And when you look at that, 58.6% converted their 2011 interns to full-time hires. Through the College of Business, our number is a little bit higher. We're actually averaging around 74% of full-time interns that are converting into job offers. So when I say know yourself, you want to know what industry you want to get into, because if you choose a company and you don't ultimately love that company and they offer you a job, you're in a tight spot. It's like you want to get hired, but that company may not be the right fit for you. So again, really choose your destiny kind of by knowing yourself.
What was our percentage again?
About 74%.
74%.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that? 74%.
So with 74%, that's definitely passing. Remember 70, right? Anything below 70 is below sea level. You're drowning. Okay, we're above that, which is awesome. So yes, 74%. So what is an internship? It's hopefully going to take all this experience that you have learned throughout the whole part of your life leading up to today and will transform magically in the workplace to make you a great employer or a great employee. So it's basically taking everything that you have learned through college and life and hopefully transferring that into a skill set, which employers really enjoy. Some fast facts about our internship program. One of the things that I like to rely on is statistics. I think they're great. Nationally, statistics help us out and keep us sort of on a benchmark for where we want to progress. If you look, 2013, more companies hired interns, 53% more than in 2012. That is growth. That is growth in the economy, and that is great for you because when you're looking for an opportunity when you graduate in a year and a half or so, the employment outlook should be a little bit better. Now here's where it gets a little sticky. Nearly 66% of 2012 graduates had completed an internship. That means that 66% of your competition has done an internship. Who do you think is going to get the offer? That would be someone who probably does the internship or has experience on their resume. So this is how you set yourself apart, again, from the average bear. Almost 70% of companies with 100 more employees offered full-time employment to their interns in 2012. Again, Ferris is beating the curve with 74%. 66% of employers consider interview performance and experience the two most important qualities that you can have. What's nice about that is you can get both of these skills right here.
Paul, can I just interject?
You certainly can.
The thing that you have to also realize, in that 66% of those students, those employers are probably not even advertising those positions. They're basically using the internship to determine who they will offer those positions to. So unless you did an internship there, you were never going to know that that job was being, because that's how they actually select their pool of potential new hires. So it's just, the internship, it's so important from that perspective.
Well, and not only that, internships can lead to positions being created. We've seen it many times where students are awesome and they go out and the companies will say, I don't want to lose you, let's see what we can do to create a position for you. And I think that's awesome because I'm telling you, there's power in knowledge and they kind of go hand in hand. So, one of the things I want to talk about is professional image for future employers. Professional dress. Okay. You know, there's a couple things that I have, but I want to talk about an email address first and foremost. If you don't have a professional email address, or you're not using your student email address up front, you probably should. Because in fact, employers, when they get a resume, sexypants12@yahoo.com, they're going to laugh, and then they're going to throw your resume out, okay? Now, it's fun for office banter, but it's not fun for you if you're trying to get an opportunity. So switch to a professional email address. Responsibility of posting anything on Facebook, the Chive, all that fun stuff that's out there, Snapchat. You guys are all future leaders, so I'm not too worried about you. But there are other students that maybe have a lapse of judgment and will put some things out there on the internet which may not do well for their career later on in life if they ever find out who it is. Now, most companies are not swift enough and knowledgeable enough to understand what all these Snapchat and Instagram and all these kind of things can do, social media. But here's the thing, they are hiring students like you that know exactly how to manipulate that information, and they can find out. So they're getting a little bit more hip as they get a little bit younger in their age of employees. One thing that I want to talk about is LinkedIn. Who here is on LinkedIn? Raise a hand. Okay. I see opportunities, right? LinkedIn is the professional Facebook, right? Now, what's cool about LinkedIn is that employers are on it. Yes, it's for older people, but it's also to prepare you in networking, because what it does is it opens up your audience pool. This morning I was on LinkedIn, and there is a person at a hospital that I was going to help a student out get an internship at. And so I connected with the HR manager just by a click of a button rather than a phone call. So the power of LinkedIn is pretty cool, because not only did it show me that HR professional, but it also showed me people that I knew that were in that same profession in the Big Rapids area. So LinkedIn is a great resource for you. You can also create a resume on LinkedIn. I didn't know if you guys knew this or not. It imports your data right from LinkedIn, and it's free. So it's a pretty good service. So you can never have enough, I guess, hooks in the water to catch as many fish as you'd want put in your boat, all right? Okay, how do you find an internship opportunity? Well, you know me. I'm not a stranger. I'm up in Business 324, so I'm not too hard to find. You just have to climb 3 flights of stairs from down here, but just know that's where I'm at. You can talk with faculty members, anybody in the College of Business. You can talk with your roommate, your friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, all about their experiences. As I was walking down here today, I ran into a student that I recruited over in the Thumb area. I was a recruiter primarily for the university for about 10 years. And she has been doing remarkably well. I recruited her from a small high school in the Thumb area, and she told me that she just got promoted to on the hospitality committee into being the food and beverage manager. And it's a far cry from where she was as a freshman in high school when I first met her. So it's really kind of cool to watch people progress, but here's the thing. It's all about networking, keeping those relationships going, okay? So you never know the people that you're going to hopefully be able to connect with and network with later on if you don't keep track of them. So these are all good ways, but we want to make sure that you're going to intern at a reputable organization, right? There was a guy that was talking the other day, and he said that an internship for students was outside of the Bob in Grand Rapids, the big old building they call it, the Bob, and his internship was passing out little packets of Skoal, chewing tobacco. Really? That's an internship? That's not an internship. That's horrible. I mean, number one, you're poisoning people with, chewing tobacco. Great, right? But he got internship credit for this. This is ridiculous. This is not a good internship. And likewise, one isn't really good where you're pushing a broom all day long or fetching coffee. We want to make sure that it's a reputable organization. Hopefully, you'll get paid for it as well, because there's nothing worse than doing a lot of work and not getting paid, right? Okay. Some of the companies that you see the logos up here are where our interns have been over the summer and currently into the fall. Yes, there's a picture of a Ferris State Bulldog on there. We have several students that intern for the university. But when you look at Jackson Life Insurance, Legacy Hockey, that's Manny Legacy Hockey Academy. Really cool internship. Auto Owners Insurance, one of our biggest supporters of our internship program. Amway, huge. The Saginaw Spirit Hockey Team, Thompson Reuters, Consumers Energy. So these are all companies that currently have students working with them right now through Ferris State. So it doesn't have to be Bob's hardware store down on the corner. It can be a really big company, and we can definitely help you with that. A couple of things that I'd really want you to focus on. When you're at your internship or you're doing anything, be so good that they can't ignore you. Because what happens is those students that are out there on doing their internship will have things created for them. Are you experienced? Is kind of the theme that I like to go with. for our internship program. The one thing that students always need is something to list for past experience on their resume, and I think it's important to have that. That's why joining a student group, a registered student organization on campus, getting involved, volunteer opportunities, all of those things matter to employers. The resume is not the be-all, end-all of your job. The resume is to get you an interview. Okay, so you really want to make sure that you have your resume looking professional so it gets your foot in the door for that company. Rockstar interns, dynamic, creative, amazing, hardworking. Everything that we want as an employee is what you are as an intern. All right? Resume assistants. I had a student this morning come in, showed me her resume. It was pretty decent. Just needed a couple of tweaks here and there. I'm not the best at it, but I do my best to help you out. We have a career services office that are the experts, and they will definitely help you. But we have a job fair coming up October 17th. You want to make sure that you go to that. And October 17th, it's going to be from, I believe, 11 in the morning until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. Dress like I am appropriately. Okay, ladies, you looking good? Okay, looking professional today. So wear similar clothing to that job fair because you never know who you meet when you're shaking that hand that the employers are there. One thing that's important to realize, over half the resumes that are submitted for jobs are never even read. You've put all this work in to a great resume and 15 seconds later it's thrown in the trash can. Yikes, that's not a good statistic, is it? How do you make sure that you are actually one of the ones that are noticed? You know somebody at the company, you do an internship, you network, you know people. That's kind of how it works, right? Less than 4% of the people, though, however, get their jobs through the internet. It's kind of important to know that roughly 64% of the people that get jobs have done it because they know somebody. They've networked. Last night, I had a student that I was trying to help at home, so I called a friend that's an HR professional out of General Mills, Yoplait, and basically said, who's the HR contact out there? And they gave me that information. So now I know another person in industry that I can relate to a student and say, this is the person that you want to contact. So it's all through relationships, whether it's a first-hand relationship or a relationship that you've had forever. This is how you find me. I'm upstairs again in Business 324. I just want to let you know that we do have a Facebook page, a LinkedIn professional page, as well as a Twitter.com site. So if you ever want to catch things on Twitter, I do post things out there, why companies should hire you, what you should put on your resume, and those different types of things. Now, we have a little bit of extra time, so what I'd share with you is a few things on professional business attire, if you don't mind. You good? All right. First things first. When you're looking at professional business attire, man, no hipsters. Guys wearing the zoot suit up top. This is not what you want to wear to a job fair. This is what you want to wear to a theme party, in my opinion. Okay? So, I know that none of us dress like this anymore, but the hipster thing is kind of overdone. One thing that you start to look when you go to a company, when I went to Auto Owners Insurance last Friday, shirt and tie environment, business, professional. Everybody was dressed professional. Incredible. I was so impressed with that organization, not only because of the dress, but because of what they stood for and how they treated their employees. What's really cool about that is that you have to understand the culture. I wore a suit that day. I didn't know what to expect, but I figured, you know, the worst thing I could do is underdress, go into one of those events. Okay? So know your culture. Research that company, if you possibly can, on what they expect, okay? Business suits, it's just basically telling you safe suits are the best. What are safe suits? Colors like black, navy, dark, earth tones. Bright colors, they can get you noticed, but not in the way that you want. This guy's pretty happy and shiny up front, trimmed haircut, clean shaven, warm smile. Again, dress shoes, never wear jeans, offensive t-shirts, things like that. That is the good way to be remembered in the way that you don't want to be remembered. All right? Now, ladies, women can wear heels or flats. The open-toed shoes and strapless shoes, you're kind of pushing it. Because what they really don't want you to do is be, being offered an opportunity because your feet look good. You want to be offered an opportunity because you have skills and you're smart, right? So you want to make sure that you keep the cleavage areas a little bit closer to home, if you will, and make sure that your business dress in the back, you're not showing too much back. It could send the wrong impression, right? So these are just a few things that I'm pointing out to you that employers and old people really like to adhere to, okay? So what not to wear? Oh, everybody's kind of breaking the rule today. But look at this. I mean, they look casual. It looks great. It's like everyday college students pretty much coming through the walls of the College of Business. So this is great for everyday business wear. But what's more appropriate in a business environment? Right here. So business casual, believe it or not, is everything minus the suit. So it's basically a tie, shirt, nice looking shoes. Ladies are professionally dressed as well. What not to wear? Ooh, the young lady on the bottom there with the bunny ears. Probably don't want to do that. You're going to be remembered again. That could be the life of the party. However, the party is not going to be remembered, you know, when there comes time to hire you. All right? So there are things that you can do and things that you don't do when you dress. Now, if you look at the ladies up top there, the do, she's wearing professional clothing, longer skirt. The one next to her is not. So again, it's just kind of a socially acceptable thing to sort of look into. Now, guys, I'm not leaving you out. When you start looking at these, the gentleman over on the right of your right-hand screen with the blue shirt untucked, he's very casual. It's Casual Friday, okay? The gentleman that's below him, he didn't do a good job of sizing his pants. They're too short. His tie is too long. His button is, ooh, fashion faux pas. The fashion police are going to come out. He buttoned the top button on his suit coat. So again, little things that you want to pick up on that can hopefully help you out when you're meeting with employers. Did I mention the job fair on October 17th? I believe I did, and I want to do it again. 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. It's a good way. More business employers that have ever been on campus are going to be there. They're waiting for you, even if you're looking for an internship, okay? That is the end of my presentation. Now, that doesn't mean it's the end of me talking. Questions? What do you guys want to know about internships?
Do people normally do just summer internships, like 3 months or 6 months, or?
Great question. We have the majority of the College of Business students that do internships over the summer currently. We had around 90 last summer, and currently right now we have around 20 that are out. So it's traditionally acceptable to go out in the summer because it doesn't interfere with your coursework for fall and spring semesters, but that doesn't mean that you can't do one in fall or spring. Minimum of 10 weeks. We're looking at 240 hours, so that's what you would have to put on the job for a 3-credit internship. We have some students that do 5-credit internships and some that do 6, but they're 400 hours and 480 hours respectively. So that's time on the job. Is it really hard to do an internship? Well, no. I mean, you have to do a weekly report, which you submit. You have to submit a photograph of you on the job, and basically you get to have a midterm evaluation from your employer and a final evaluation from your employer that's saying how good of a job you did, and then you get to turn the tables on them, and you get to fill out an evaluation on how that employer treated you. So that's really basically it. But the nice thing is that you're getting an experience to build your resume. So yeah, for the majority, most of our students do them over the summer. Now they go all over. We had 2 students that did international internships, and that's something that you could possibly look into. We had one in London and one in China, I believe.
Do I have to find my own internship?
Question is, do I have to find my own internship? For the most part, a lot of students do. But that doesn't mean that I can't help in some form or fashion. And what that really means to you is I'm not afraid to pick up the phone and call a company. The other day I called Quicksilver and Hurley on the phone because a student was just like shocked that I would do that. Well, why not? I wasn't successful at reaching anybody, but I was not afraid to call them, okay? So if you have a company that you would like to work with, my old man's advice would be this. Pick your top 5 companies that you want to intern with and pick every one of them, research that company, and if you cannot get through to them, bring it over to me and I'll see what I can do. Just because I think that you should intern for a company that excites you, where it's not boring, where you hate it. Because if they offer you a job, you're stuck, okay? Now, we have an employer database listed of all of our interns that have gone out in the past, I don't know, I think it's 8 years or so. So we've got a lot of industry knowledge of where our interns have been. I can't tell you exactly who has been there yet, but I can tell you the most recent ones, okay? So if there's a company like Amway, they have an on-campus presence all the time. Auto Owners Insurance, they have an on-campus presence. A lot of those folks come to the job fair, so you want to make sure that you have a resume ready if you're interested in these companies because it could lead you to an opportunity.
Just to add to that, you know, Paul kind of mentioned top 5 companies. What you really want to think about from my experience, what are the top 5 companies you want to work at when you graduate?
Absolutely.
That's where you want to focus your energy. Given that over 60% of the employers will give you a job offer, the internship is your way to get into the companies you want to work at. So you don't want to be the student when you graduate who's now hitting, you know, Monster.com and thinking, okay, now it's time to start looking for my job. The smart students say, okay, where do I want to work? Well, and then what you should be doing, as frankly as a sophomore, is meeting with that company to say, next year I want to be an intern here. What do I need to do so that I actually prepare myself to be an intern? Because they know and you know that's how you get into the company. So my message here is take the internship as seriously. Think of it as this is how I get into the place where I'd most like to work. And you may not get in, and you still may get in after you graduate, but if you can get in as an intern, that is absolutely going to increase the likelihood that you can work there when you're done.
Oh, for sure. Personal story, I had 3 internships before I graduated from college. I value them. I think they're important. The first one that I had, not a great experience. I was in the music industry, and the first one that I did was basically fetching coffee and babysitting for my boss's dogs when she left town, which was kind of fun, but not really learning a lot. The experience that I gained in that internship and the networking contacts that I made geared me up for my second one, which was awesome. The third one that I did was even better. It was at Sony Music in Nashville, and I tell you, it was right at the wave where everybody was still buying music and not stealing it. And then as soon as my internship was done, everybody started stealing music again, or started stealing music, and then we all lost our opportunities. It was not a good time in the music industry. But before that, it was awesome. I was hanging out with musicians and famous people all the time. It was the best internship I think you could ever have. But the pay, you want to take a guess what I got per week? $70. $70 and all the CDs I could take home. They still use CDs back in the day. But the thing was, it was cool, and it was fun, and it added to my resume. Now the bummer was this. They didn't have room for me at the company, and they couldn't create a spot for me because they had a hiring freeze. But what happened was, the impression that I left with those folks, they picked up the phone. The senior administration at that record label picked up the phone, and they called people in the industry and said, do you have a spot for this guy? I went over with my suit and tie, was offered an opportunity instantly, which I thought was really cool. They laughed at me that I wore a suit in the music industry. But again, I figured you can never go wrong. You can always take a suit coat off if you have to, okay? But that's sort of my story with internships. And I tell you, even from an old guy's perspective, it's crucial to setting up your career. And I'll do whatever I can to help you out. I promise you that. It's not rocket science, but I tell you what, it's something that's going to make a huge difference in your careers later on. So again, I'm up in Business 324. I really appreciate your time today.
Well, I'm the Associate Dean of the College of Business. And since I've started here, I have gotten a reputation. I'm kind of like the study abroad guy because I had an undergrad degree in German and economics. My first job was for an international company that was actually based in Germany. I would go to Germany a lot. I loved it. When I was actually working on my doctorate, I ended up going to England twice doing short study abroad. Actually, once with my doctoral program, and then once I actually went with my colleague where I used to work to show her what they were doing in terms of higher education over there. I have always found that study abroad is the most transformational aspect to a degree that any student who does it invariably will say that that's the case. It was the best experience they had. And so when I came here to Ferris, which is only 6 months ago, I looked around and I saw what we were doing, and I heard we were doing a lot of these short 2-week trips, which are great, and many students have done them. But what I've come to experience personally is the students who go for a semester really have what I would always call a transformational experience. And the reason being, when you go for 2 weeks, which is great if that's all you can do, but it's really more like a vacation. You know, you typically have some instructor, he goes with you. It's like you get on the tour bus, we're staying at this hotel, you see the museums. It's fine, but it's like a vacation. If you go for a semester, you actually become a part of the culture, and you actually learn how to, buy your food, and how to get your laundry done, and how to get around, and where are the good places to get a cheap meal, and all the things that the locals know that those folks that come through for, on those 2-week trips never have a sense of. So, and the students always come back and say, every student I've ever talked to, it was an amazing semester for me. And the thing about college is it's really one of the few times in your life when you have the opportunity to do that. So, now that's my little intro. Before I talk more about it, I would actually like to hear from both of you what you're studying, if you've thought about study abroad, if you're planning on study abroad, kind of what's your story?
I'm in business administration, and this past May I did do the study abroad to Germany.
To Germany, okay.
Professor Burnett. So
And that was with, for what class was that?
I had to take German 331 over the summer. That was my credits.
So you took German over the summer, and then you went
and
to,
then I was in his German class last semester. So
and when you went to Germany, what did you study? Or was it just kind
yeah,
of?
it was just when we got back, we did the class.
So when you were there,
we were learning there.
okay, did you visit museums or?
Yeah, we did like destinations, and we learned. He would like talk to us, like teaching us as we were going through stuff. And then once we came back, we like applied.
Okay, so it was all about understanding like German culture. It sounds like, and the art. Or, okay, great. And would you? And what's your major?
Business administration.
All right. And what do you want to do when you're done?
Not sure.
You're not sure. Well, have you done an internship yet?
No, that's why I came today.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you the best advice you will get, and I'm going to give you this advice for free because I am the associate dean. And that advice is do an international internship. And then you will actually have done an internship, lived in a different country. When you come back and you have your resume, that, you know, we're talking about resumes, and they say, you spent 4 months in fill in the blank, Scotland, Ireland, France, you know German. Germany, we actually can, they will be awestruck. And you actually have now given yourself a chance, the opportunity to put yourself above all those other students who don't have that on their resume. And so anyway, especially now that you know some German, and actually we're starting a program, the dean is going over in a week to visit a school in Germany where we're going to start an internship, a partnership program. And we could probably work with them, either that you could take classes there in the spring semester, which would be great, or in the summer do an internship there with a company in Germany. And because part of what we're trying to work out is an agreement whereby you spend a semester there studying, and then following the internship or following the study there, you actually work in that country. And if you could make that work, I guarantee you, you will improve your job possibilities significantly. I won't guarantee you a job offer, but it will work. Okay, and so now did you go to the Bulldogs Abroad last week?
No.
Did you hear about Bulldogs Abroad?
No.
I'm a marketing guy. That's my background. And we worked really hard so that all the students would know about this event. So the school that we're talking about is Hochschule Rheinval. I actually studied German 10 years. Pathetic that I can't speak it better. But, and see, you can see what's cool about this chart is basically a semester here at Ferris is going to cost you, you know, about $10,000. A semester there and that's actually 6 months in Germany will cost you a little bit more than $10,000. So the price difference is really, well, $700. And then it's only the airfare, and we actually can help you kind of defray some of those costs. And there's things we can do. And actually we're going to have a student come who just did an internship in the Netherlands, and she works for the international office, so we can actually help you with some of these costs. So if you have, now is any of this resonating with you? And if it's not, it's fine.
Yeah, when I went and saw my advisor just a couple weeks ago, he was telling me about the university over there that you guys are talking to.
Excellent.
The dual degree or whatever.
And we're actually going to have the president of that university is coming here for a big, you know, a big kahuna signing ceremony in another month or so. So you can even meet the president. So, and what's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea? Okay, here's my card. So Chelsea, I really want to see you study abroad in Germany, either this spring or summer.
All right.
At least think about it.
I will.
Okay. Okay, now what's your name?
Samantha.
Samantha. This is fun.
I'm business administration, and my concentration right now is operations supply management.
Operations supply management. Oh, is that perfect? Okay, and you're a junior?
Yeah.
Have you done an internship yet?
No, I haven't.
Have you studied abroad?
No.
Are you open to the idea?
Of studying abroad?
Yes.
Yes, but I have money problems, so.
Okay.
That's
Well,
what I had. And I got it.
what's that?
So that's the problem I had, but I had a fundraiser and I made it happen.
See, she made it happen, and you've got this. Now, that we're actually working on some partnerships in operations and supply management. We have a couple faculty, specifically David Marion, who teaches in that area, we're working with him to make sure that we work out some of these partnership issues. What languages do you, no, see the thing, I'm babbling. All of these programs here are taught in English. That's the great thing to know. What part of the world would you like to visit for a semester?
Any? I would love to travel anywhere.
Any, okay, great. Because all of these are very possible. I mean, you could even go to schools that aren't listed here, but the nice thing about all these schools is all the courses are taught in English.
Oh, okay.
And we have partnership arrangements with all of them, so that basically the costs are very close to what it would cost if you studied here in Big Rapids. What you should do, frankly, is talk to David Marion or Lisa Eschbach. Those are both faculty in supply. Have you had either one of those for a class yet?
No. But
Okay.
I think I've talked to Lisa before.
Okay, well, you could talk to either one. And everybody kind of knows I'm the study abroad guy. But what she can help you do is you can talk, hi, welcome. Come on down, we're just talking about study abroad. And since it's a small group, we're making it a casual conversation. And you get put on the spot in the spotlight because that's what we do here. Because Ferris is all about one-on-one instruction. I mean, this is it, you know, this is what makes us great. Okay, so your operations management, and I'll work with you, I'll give you my card, and we will figure out a program so that, see, my whole thing is, I think there are two reasons students don't study abroad. Well, there are three. Or I'll say four. They've got, like, they're an older student with a family and they just can't physically, you know, they can't make it all work. So that's kind of one group. Now, most of our students here, and for you two, that's not the case. You know, I think you're a full-time student, you can make it work in your schedule. B, they're just kind of, it seems kind of scary to leave for a semester. And that's why these partnerships are so helpful, and we actually will work with the students very closely. And frankly, and the thing that I didn't really even say yet, is why I believe this is so important. It's not just because it will be helpful to you personally, but as I kind of indicated, and you're getting a little bit of a repeat of this, for your career, it's probably, if there are three things you can do as you're a student, I'll go back to four. Four things you can do to really give yourself the best chance of being successful when you graduate. A, do well in your courses, because you know you don't want to be there. You want to have at least a 3-point or better if you possibly can. Welcome. Hi. And actually, I'll be ready for you in just a second. She's actually a student who is interning currently in the international department, but she actually was abroad last year, and she's going to talk about that. And because I'm giving them the hard sell here, Adrian. They have nowhere to go. This is kind of painful.
I've done so many class visits, and yeah, I know how you feel.
So anyway, so I was saying, A, they can't do it because of their family commitments, whatever. B, they're just kind of afraid of it. C, they say they can't afford it. And D, they're concerned that the classes won't transfer. So what I'm trying to do, and we're trying to do, is make sure that the financial part of it is as close to even as possible. Adrian will mention some of the things that the international office is doing to help with that. There are lots. So if you would say, I would go abroad as long as if I can make it work financially, we can probably deal with that one. So I want you to know that right up front. And also, if you actually are Pell eligible, there's up to $4,000 you can get to assist to help cover all these costs, but that's only some students. Okay, and let's see, and what was number 4? Oh, the classes would transfer. So anyway, we're trying to at least deal with the two major objections, which is the money part and the transfer of credits part. Well, that is kind of my spiel, and I just wanted to I asked Adrian to come and to just talk for about 10 minutes about her experience studying abroad.
So with financial aid stuff, any funding, that's usually the thing that I hear the most from students. So financial aid still counts. We have a ton of scholarships listed on the online website. Have you shown them the link?
Nope.
Okay, well I can show you exactly where that is actually, if we have this open. Because I know sometimes, what? This one, that's a decoy. Oh, okay.
We're just seeing if you're paying attention.
I know, right? Okay, so homepage, this is where Office of International Education is. All right, and then if you go to Education Abroad, There's a ton of financial aid stuff, scholarships. There'll be a list of scholarships with exactly what you need to qualify for those scholarships, how to apply, all that good stuff. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about more specifically is the My Place program. Now let's go back to this international office page. And right now we're going through a name change. So it has the old name on here, Conversation Partners, but it is in fact My Place now. This is a scholarship program where you donate a couple hours either 2 times a week or 4 times a week, depending on how much money you want to earn, helping our intensive English students we have here practice their English speaking skills. So you can earn $400 to $800 per semester doing this. You can do it for, I believe, 3 semesters, which would mean there is rollover. So you keep doing it. You're going to get $2,400 towards your trip if you do it for 3 semesters, and you do it for the $800. Okay? So this is how I helped fund my trip. I went to the Netherlands this past summer. Where's my phone? Because I have a little snippet that I wrote actually just today about my trip to the Netherlands. More on My Place really quick before I switch gears. So I earned $2,000 towards my trip doing just Conversation Partners. So obviously you can see you can apply online. For this fall semester, it is closed, but for spring semester, that's going to be open, and I would apply as soon as you possibly can. The other good thing about Conversation Partners, or My Place, I should really start calling it My Place, even if you go through and you do the 3 semesters and are earning money to go towards your trip and you decide something happens, you can't go abroad, what have you, that's still a great resume builder. You're globalizing your resume, you are practicing your communication skills, you're in a leadership role, and honestly, you get invested in the students. I did it to earn money, and I'm actually doing Conversation Partners again, even though I'm graduating, just because I want to see them pass their TOEFL. And I actually started an international book club to help them with their reading as well. So you're going to get a lot out of this, okay, not just academically. All right, so I did write a quick little snippet, and I'm sorry that it's on my cell phone, and I have to read it off of here. But actually, earlier today, Leslie from the International Office in Purim both asked me to write a little snippet just about education abroad. So I'm going to read from this, okay? Traveling was something I never considered until I met the staff at the Office of International Education here at Ferris State. I began to work at the office in fall of 2012. My job was to promote education abroad to the FSU students here. I spent hours creating promo materials and considering the benefits of going abroad. I spoke to classes and encouraged students to leave their homes for an extended period of time and spend money on the programs, even though the truth was I had never myself been outside of the United States. I did that for a year. I had no idea what I was talking about at all. I'll be honest. So all that changed this summer. I went to the Netherlands for 5 weeks, 4 weeks of actual education and 1 week of vacation. Before I went on my little excursion, I told students about all the triple dipper, you guys know triple dipper, right, credits, qualifies for global consciousness, culture enrichment, gen eds, and that's still true. It does still qualify for all of those things, so if you have any of those lingering around, this will satisfy that in a matter of 2 weeks, 4 weeks. And the financial aid available. After I returned, my list of benefits changed. The benefits of education abroad are almost inexpressible. I could write a lengthy essay about my networking connections made, or the credits I earned, or the knowledge I acquired, or the tourist attractions I saw. However, the long and the short of it is that I met some of the most interesting people I have ever had in my entire life. I learned amazing life lessons. Yes, I gained 6 Ferris credits in 4 weeks. Yes, I took courses that were pertinent to my interests and were applicable to my major. Yes, I earned scholarship money from the university to fund my trip. And yeah, these are real benefits still. However, those reasons to go abroad only scratch the surface. I gained my value from more than the academics and running around the streets of Amsterdam and Harlem. To be candid, the value that I gained came from Marcela from Mexico, Eduardo from Brazil, Jeannie from Taiwan, Mark from Newfoundland, and Allie, actually from Michigan, and I had no idea who she was until I went there. They taught me how to see things from another's perspective. I now have a more global point of view, as well as a better understanding for what our own international students here at Ferris are experiencing. I gained patience, a little bit more confidence, and I know that's hard to believe considering how nervous I am right now. Communication skills, and this experience is going to help me now with my work in the international office, because I can understand more what our students need, and I can understand the cycle of culture shock and reverse culture shock. But then also, it's going to help me later in my career in advertising. So, like I said, I could write a dissertation about this. I could just go on and on about why you should study abroad. But, and I don't know if you know this guy, Richard Byington, he's our resident historian in the Office of International Education. I think he says it best. He said this right when I first met him, and I had no idea what it was like to study abroad. He said, you're never going to understand until you go and see it for yourself.
My name is Shannon Yost, and I'm from the College of Business graduate programs, and I was asked today to tell you about our programs here at the College of Business, our master's degrees, as well as what you might be looking for and expecting, and what to look for if you are looking at other master's degrees elsewhere. Okay? We've got here in the College of Business the Master's in Business Administration, the MBA, and the Master of Science in Information Security and Intelligence. They're both master's degrees. They both are for non-traditional students, or right out of your undergraduate, or come back later and do a master's. For non-traditional students, they're very flexible. Okay. Our MBA is the very first class requires 2 Saturdays in Big Rapids. The rest can be done entirely online if you choose the project management or the management tools and concepts as your concentration. The ISI is mixed delivery. There's 4 classes that are fully online. The rest are online with some Saturday classes. Okay. Our MBA, there are 3 foundation courses. The professional skills development, that's the one that requires the 2 Saturdays. It's going to cover APA, research, business communications, presentations, basically everything that you need going forward into the graduate program. Okay? The statistics or numerical analysis and the accounting and finance, some students are able to test out of those. Now, a lot of your traditional MBAs elsewhere, they may say that they're 40 credits, but then people get enrolled them and they find out that there's a whole bunch of prerequisites. And rather than do that, we have foundation courses that we include in our total that we can waive if you've got the competencies. Okay, that was by design up front, you know, just for that reason, so that you're not adding stuff on, you know, the bait and switch kind of thing. All right. Our MBA is built on the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. It is the highest award of performance excellence given by our nation, given by the President of the United States. Just as there is, as an organization going for an accreditation, they'd have a whole bunch of criteria that needs to be met. This award has a whole bunch of criteria, and our curriculum is built directly on that criteria. What that means to you is it's very up-to-date, very practical, very hands-on, put-it-to-use knowledge and skills. Okay? The ISI is really hot. It was brand new a year ago. Our ISM program, it was Information Systems Management. It was one of the first of its kind in the nation back in 1987, and we had it for all of these years. Last year they transitioned it to be more security focused because there's so many opportunities out there. You hear about all these corporate security breaches, identity theft, you hear about server attacks, you hear about all this stuff, you know, and some of you, you know, it may be the techie stuff is over your head. I don't speak very good geek myself, but it's really important, particularly, you know, with new generations going into CEO and management type positions. There's a lot of old people in those positions that don't have a clue what their networks are capable of, or what's in their databases, how to retrieve it, how to protect it, and stuff like that. So that's kind of in a nutshell what those 2 programs are about. Okay, admissions for graduate programs. whether you're considering doing one of the graduate programs here or looking at doing a graduate program elsewhere, admissions are pretty much, they're pretty close across the board. What we require here at Ferris for the College of Business graduate programs, application, which can be done online, resume, statement of purpose. Basically, that's one-page type telling why you want to be in the program, okay? What you bring to the program, what you expect to get out of the program, what your goals are with the degree. You've familiarized yourself with the curriculum. You're prepared to do online studies, you know, that kind of stuff, okay? 3 letters of, excuse me, 3 letters of recommendation. They can be academic or professional, so instructors, employers, folks that can tell us that you'd be successful at graduate level work. Official course transcripts from all the colleges and universities you've attended. If they're all here at Ferris, I can pull them from the system, okay? If you've got some elsewhere, you know, you would need to request those. And then the GMAT or the GRE test, that's the big question that everybody asks about grad school. What is that? Those are graduate admission tests. They're to grad school like what ACT is to undergraduate. They basically allow, you know, they put all the applicants on a level playing field, okay? Here at Ferris, we will waive that if you've got a 3.5 or better. So if you've got honors, we can waive that GMAT or GRE requirement. Otherwise, you would need to take it. We'll also waive it if you've already got a master's degree, okay? So that's kind of the application requirements. Now some universities, they require you to present that all in one formal packet. Some have the opportunity to apply online, and actually Ferris has got this in the works. With the online application, you may be able to upload the statement of purpose and the resume and have your transcripts sent electronically to the university and such, and then you provide the email for your recommenders, and they actually send, it actually gets sent out to them to attach the letter or fill out a recommendation form. That's in the works here. Right now, the way that I handle it, once I get the application, I start a file. As the other documents come in, I add them to the file. When the file is complete, we get it reviewed and make a decision. Turnaround is pretty quick. We've got posted deadlines out there. They're usually, well, like for spring, the deadline is October 15th. Really flexible. Those are mainly posted out there because international students have to have overseas mailings. They have to apply for visas. They have to make travel arrangements and all that. So basically, the deadline's posted out there, very flexible. We'll consider an app right up till a couple weeks before a semester starts, okay? Not to say that you would want to wait till then, because registration does start earlier, and it could get filled up, and if that was the case, then you may be asked to, you may be accepted, but it would be for the following semester, okay? So that's a little bit about the curriculum, the admission process. Tuition for grad school, there isn't that blanket tuition for so many credits like like the undergraduate programs. It's a per credit fee. Currently, it's $4.97 per credit hour. There is a $10 per credit online learning fee, same as if you've taken online classes in the undergraduate. With the MBA, I tell folks just figure $5.07 per credit hour all the way through because of that fee. And as you know, every July the board meets to determine if there's tuition increases for the fall upcoming. Okay, application process. Curriculum. Oh, scheduling. Really neat thing about our scheduling. All of our classes are 7-week sessions. What that does is it allows you to take one class the first half, focus everything on that one class, get it done, take another class the second half. 9 credits is full-time for graduate students. A lot of times people have full-time jobs, families, aging parents, dogs, all the stuff that life is throwing at you. One class at a time is very manageable, okay? For those that go full-time, that would be one class the first half, 2 the second half, or vice versa. Some of the full-time students say if I can do 2 in one half, I can do 2 in both, and they'll knock off 4 classes in a semester. That's 12 credits in a semester, okay? If you did the MBA, 1 class at a time, 2 per semester, it would take you 2 years in a semester to get it done. If you went full-time, a year in a semester or 2. So not so bad at all. You're talking 14 additional classes for the MBA. You're talking 11 classes for the ISI. Not so bad at all when you think about it. A lot of times, folks, when I go to the career fairs and things like that, I'll say, hey, you thinking about doing a master's degree? And they'll look and see business and go, no, I'm not in business, I'm in welding, or I'm in marketing, I'm in, whatever program. If you think about it, no matter where you're planning on going, there's managers or CEOs, and there's computers. So both of these master's programs would fit any program, okay? Your bachelor's degree is gonna get you a job. A master's degree is going to get you higher up that ladder. Ultimately, it's going to get you more money. and we all like to hear that. That kind of sums up everything that I didn't really prepare. It's almost the script that's embedded in my head. I've been managing the graduate programs here for 13 years. So that's kind of everything I can tell you. It usually takes like 27 minutes when somebody calls me on the phone, questions included. So if you've got any questions, I'd be glad to entertain those. As far as, there was something I was going to talk on. Looking at programs elsewhere, because I know, some are going to be looking, at comparing Ferris and looking at other options, or maybe somebody's thoughts are something different that we offer or whatever. Things to look for, not just the tuition. I did a spreadsheet years ago, not years ago, a few years ago, that had all the state universities and some of the private universities, and the tuition, kind of across the board was up and down. But some of the ones that had lesser tuition, they had registration fees and technology fees and graduation fees and radio station fees, and so some of them actually cost more even though their tuition was less. So just be aware of that if you're looking at graduate programs elsewhere. Ask them, what are your fees? Here at Ferris, we've got that $81 of fees that you see all the time. They credit that right back off of the MBA programs, because when you're online, you're not here using the health center and the racket facility and stuff like that. So it is just your tuition and that online fee, okay? Now, some of like the ISI, there's international students that live here on campus and stuff like that. They can keep that fee and use those facilities if they want, but typically it's waived for the graduate students. Other things you'll want to look at if you're looking at other programs is some will have cohorts where you can only start in the fall, or only start a certain semester. There's advantages, there's disadvantages. Primarily, if you're going along with that cohort and say in March, for some reason your studies are interrupted, whether it be health or some family issue or something like that, you may find that you're waiting around till the next cohort starts so you can get, jump back in where you left off. That can really mess up, what you had planned. Another thing about the cohort is you're with the same people all the way through, so you don't get as much diversity, as you would if you're with different people at different times. Okay, those are a couple of things to think about if you're looking at other programs: the tuition, the fees, the scheduling. Again, the 7 weeks that we offer is, it was unique to us. I've seen that some more and more universities are doing that split semester, but be aware of that because it does make things more flexible. Say you got a big family vacation coming up in March. Fine, take one the first half of the spring. Don't blow the whole spring semester because you got a vacation. Take classes the first half, not the second half. And that goes for weddings or babies, and not necessarily yours, but if you're in weddings or have to be in wedding in Hawaii or something like that, you can plan your schedule much more flexible around it. It also allows for prerequisites to be in the first half, the advanced class to be in the second half. So you're not taking a prereq in fall and waiting for the next class to be offered, maybe not until next fall or something like that. So those are all just kind of things to think about if you're comparing programs and stuff like that, and also what you can think about our program, how flexible and convenient it is. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? Yes?
You say that it's online for the application. Where exactly will we need to go?
Oh, you know what? I got this up and then I didn't even do anything with it. Real quick, I'll show you a couple of things. You click on MBA or click on ISI, it gets you specifically to that program site. both of them are laid out identical. The admission right here, everything else is in the left. So I kind of have to point out that admission up in there by itself. This is the requirements that I just told you about: the application, the resume, the statement of purpose, the 3 letters. You can click right here to apply online, or you can go to the Ferris homepage, top left, it says free online application. Okay. And actually, since you folks are currently enrolled, there's a short readmit application where you don't have to fill in your whole life history because they've already got that on file. You know, it's just the short, make sure that they've got a current, you know, address and phone number and stuff like that. The GMAT or GRE, the difference between the two, not really much of anything. Years ago, the GMAT was more widely accepted amongst business school. It had the reputation of being more difficult because it had the essay portion that the GRE did not. In 2003, the GRE changed their whole test. They added the essay portion, or analytical writing portion as it's called. And so the tests are very comparable. They both test verbal, quantitative, and analytical writing. Okay. The biggest difference that I know of is that the GMAT costs $250 and the GRE costs $160. So I usually tell folks, unless you have to have the GMAT for something else, like you're also looking at another program that only accepts the GMAT or something, take the GRE and save yourself $90. Okay? But this is an example. I mean, the site's very user-friendly. Here's the GRE site. Here's information about the test, where and when you can take the test, how to register, how to prepare, what to bring on test day, and what the scores mean. I mean, it can't be more straightforward than that. It's very user-friendly. Okay, and the GMAT is similar. It's laid out just about the same. But that admissions page tells you everything you need to know to apply. There's the link to the site that you're actually on, so that doesn't make a lot of sense. But also my contact information. You can email almost anywhere where it says contact us on this site. You're going to get me. Okay, with the graduate programs, I will assist you with the application. Once you're admitted, help you develop your academic plan. Basically, that will map out what you're going to register for every semester, where the light is at the end of the tunnel. With everybody having a plan, I have really accurate enrollment projections. So that means you're assured of the class according to your plan. You don't have to run to your computer at midnight on registration day and stress about, is that going to be offered the final semester when I need it? It is. Okay. Because everybody has a plan, I've got those enrollment projections, and I could basically do your grad audit a year in advance, you know, as long as you stick to it. I will do your grad audit, and I'll straighten your collar at commencement. You're kind of stuck with me from beginning to end, but it works great that way because we get this connection going, and you don't have to call and tell me something. Oh, you got to talk to so and so, and then I transfer you and you talk to them. Oh, you got to, you know, it's us. We got it handled. Okay. On the site also, you can, let me go back to the beginning here. We've got the schedule posted out there, typically three semesters worth of schedule. They're PDFs, so it's really easy to print them. You're not printing a web page that spits out 5 things with the schedule split between page 2 and 3 or something like that. It's a PDF. You can click on the instructors' names, and it will give you their profiles, their smiling faces, their contact information, all this right from the schedule that has the classes right on it. You can click on the CRN numbers that tells you what to register for, but if you click on those, it'll take you to the course descriptions and when they're offered, you know, the stuff right there in the Ferris catalog. So a wealth of information just on that one PDF file. Whoops. Course offerings. We've got a cyclical schedule out there that shows what's going to be offered. The shaded lines are when the classes are offered. So you can see for the next, 4 years when the classes are going to be offered. It helps if you're, planning ahead or wanting to change your plan, and you connect with me and say, hey, can I take this class here instead of there? We have a book list out there that tells you all the books you need for every class. It's kept up to date each semester. So, you're at a resale store and you see this book called Practicing Leadership. You may remember or put up on your phone and go, hey, I'm going to need that class, 2 semesters from now. I might as well get it. It's $2 at the resale store or something. It's very helpful to have it there rather than, to know your books in advance. And then there's a sheet there with all the course descriptions and all of the check sheets. The check sheet, I mean, it looks like any other check sheet. There's the foundation courses I told you about, the core classes, and then you choose one of the certificate options as your concentration. Okay?
Okay, my name is Carri and I work in the Dean's office. My job in the Dean's office for the most part is to clear you guys for graduation and ensure that you are all set, you've taken the classes that you need, and everything is good to go, okay? So before we get started, I'd like to make one thing very clear that seems to be really confusing to students. Commencement is not graduation, okay? Commencement is a ceremony walking across the stage where you get to wave at mom and dad. Graduation is finishing every requirement on your check sheet, okay? So I just want to make that clear because a lot of students walk across that stage and they go, I graduated. No, you have one more class yet to take, but I walked across the stage. That's where the confusion's coming, okay? So now we have newly implemented an online application. This application must be done in order to graduate. Okay, so 1 month prior to graduation. So let's say you were going to graduate next spring, you would come and clear this month. So you're going to apply to graduate online. It generates a report to me. That report comes to me. I do your audit and let you know what is expected of you from that point on. Okay? On your checklist, it should walk you through every step you need to do. There are directions on how to do the online application. Now, if you do not complete your degree when you state you're going to, you must apply again. So you need to let me know so I can inactivate you, and then you can apply again. If you do not apply, you do not get a diploma. I want to really stress that, okay? Because this is brand new for everybody. So when you come to graduate and do your audit, you will sit down with me and we'll go over everything. And for the most part, what that means is you're going to look at it and go, I'm going to say, you're all set and ready to go, hopefully, okay? And then you're just going to sign it and you'll be all set to go. From that point on, you must watch your Ferris email. Everything you need to know about graduation ceremonies is going to come out in that email. After grades are posted, if you did not graduate, you will receive a letter telling you why. Okay, whether it be you didn't get your global consciousness, you didn't reach your core GPA, anything like that. If you're missing classes, it'll list it all for you. If you don't receive that letter, then you graduate. Unless we see that you're still in fall classes or classes the next semester. If we see that, then we're going to say, okay, they're not done. If I graduate you and you're in classes yet and you do not have a declared degree, they're going to drop those classes, okay? So then you have to go back in, try to get it all, explain it to everybody. We have to pull your degree, all that wonderful stuff. The important part is to remember to do the online application. Now some of you, especially if you're off-campus students, will receive your audit through email, and I must get a response to that audit or you won't graduate. That is your signature saying, yes, I agree with this, okay? When you come into my office, I get your signature, okay? Now the other thing that you will be participating in, hopefully, is we have a grad fair for every semester except summer because we don't have commencement in the summer. And the dates for those are posted on the commencement link on the website. So right on the home page under quick links, find commencement. It'll give you times for everything. You may pick up your tickets that day. You may get your cap and gown that day. You may order class rings, school rings, get your picture taken with Brutus if you want to, in cap and gown. There are multiple things to do at the grad fair, okay? So that's going to get you out of the bachelor's and then into the master's. So is everybody going to do an internship, study abroad, graduate and get your master's, right? We've covered it all for you. I want to thank you very much for coming. We were hoping there would be a lot more. because it seems our juniors are lost and don't know where do I go here, where do I go, and we were hoping to inform you all of that. I'm glad that you all managed to come, so thank you very much. And did you have any questions about anything you heard? No questions, even for transfers?
I mean, I think I just need to talk to my advisor.
Okay. Yep.
Make sure everything's okay, and I know I need to get an internship as soon as possible, so as soon as I leave here, I'm about to go up and talk to him.
Right, that's a very good idea, and that is make sure from here on out you are meeting with your advisors and they're showing you on My Degree or your check sheet, whatever they're using, that where you're at, okay? And if you're not comfortable with that, you can come to the dean's office and talk to us and say, really, where am I at? Because you want to make sure by the time you come to see me to sign that audit, I'm not going to sit there and say, you still have this, this, and this to do. All right? So, go meet your advisor. Yes.
In My Degree, what should I do?
Call me. I'm Carri. Once again, I'm in the dean's office. Or you can email cob@ferris.edu and say my degree is not right. Or is it right and I'm wrong? 9 chances out of 10 you're right. Okay. The best thing to do is follow your check sheet right now, especially for the juniors. Okay, because you're getting ready to graduate and everything, and your check sheets will be more complete. We're hoping My Degree will be more complete soon. Okay. So everybody knows who their advisor is. Okay, and you've spoke to your advisors through the process here? No. You must do that. Okay. Just to make sure, because I really, really don't like it when kids come in and go and start to cry. That's not fun, okay? All right, that's all I have. That was the quickest part. The best thing you can do is hang on to your checklist. Make sure you go through it. If you see anybody that's going, I don't know how to graduate, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, just tell them, come get a checklist. We'll have them for them, okay? Any questions?
You made me think of something real quick.
Okay.
As far as the master's degree, sometimes people get in their last semester of undergraduate and they've only got just the internship or 1 or 2 classes or something like that. If that's the case and you're planning on doing the master's degree, you can apply. Like if your final semester is fall, you could apply to the master's degree for spring, and then once you're accepted for spring, we can allow you to take classes your final semester to round out your schedule and get a jump start on the master's degree. And basically, one of the other questions that people ask is, well, how can I apply? I'm not done yet. What I do when somebody applies, we've got your transcripts, and it's just basically the admission would be that you're accepted conditionally pending completion of your bachelor's degree. And I would go and get that grad audit from Carri that shows that you're going to graduate when you say you're going to graduate. Okay. Her discussion just made me think of those things. So
and anybody that's going to do study abroad, if you could shoot an email off to the College of Business and let us know that you're doing that, so we can kind of watch for all the paperwork and everything that comes in, makes it a more smooth transition for you. Okay.